Good morning, MEC. My name is Mike Hurst. I am your Republican candidate for Attorney General. That was an amazing welcome. We never had that welcome back in Hickory, so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to meet all the job creators, the business leaders, the people that make Mississippi run on a daily basis. Thank you all for the invitation. You know, I have a positive vision for Mississippi. A vision where we elect an Attorney General who will be present for Mississippi, not absent. Who will stand up for Mississippi, not sit down. And who will fight for Mississippi, not cower to special interests, political parties, and to a president. As your next Attorney General, I will be present, I will stand up, and I will fight for all Mississippians. Now, you probably heard by now, I'm from Hickory. I grew up in a little trailer, single-wide trailer in Newton County. My dad worked for the railroad right out of high school, worked offshore, and then he founded his own small business. He was actually a pulpwood hauler for almost 30 years. I talk about my dad a lot because he broke his back every day putting food on the table for my family and I. But I haven't mentioned my mom very much, and it's a real success story. My mom put her way through college with a baby on her hip, me. She became a civil engineer, which is a pretty big deal back in the late 70s, early 80s. And she broke glass ceilings at the Mississippi Department of Transportation, retiring after almost 30 years in that office, working in an environment that may not have been the best or most conducive to women, especially civil engineers. But she did that hard work every day, and then came home and made sure our house ran smoothly, and spent countless hours at the dinner table teaching me how to read and how to do math. And I thank her for that. I thank both my parents, because they're the ones that taught me about hard work, about integrity, about doing your best, and most importantly, about helping others. That's what I want to do as your Attorney General. Now, you may have heard a lot of things about me on TV, and I found out real quickly that not everything you see on TV is true. For the last almost decade, I've been a federal prosecutor right here in Jackson, prosecuting public corruption cases, some of the biggest our state's ever seen, criminally prosecuting illegal immigration, and prosecuting other crimes to protect Mississippians and protect our community. Now, since this is the state's Chamber of Commerce, I started looking at economic development and job creation issues as it relates to the Attorney General's race. And I've been shocked and honestly real concerned about all the job-killing regulations coming out of Washington, D.C. these days, particularly out of President Obama's administration. And I'm not the only one concerned. There are Republican attorneys general around the country who are standing up for their states, standing up for their communities, and fighting back against President Obama. In fact, the last time I checked, current Texas Governor Greg Abbott, when he was Attorney General, had sued President Obama 31 times. He was standing up and continues to stand up for the great state of Texas on issues like EPA expansion, executive amnesty for illegal immigration, and Obamacare. These are things that Republican attorneys general around the country are fighting back. In Mississippi, I think most of us would prefer our local elected leaders to address these issues, people that we can directly vote for or vote out. But when the federal government intrudes on our state, intrudes on our values, affects our pocketbooks, affects our jobs, we need an Attorney General who will stand up and fight back. And we have not had an Attorney General that does that. I make a promise to you today, I will stand up and I will fight back. Now, I was also surprised when I got into this race that my opponent has been absent from the fight against the Obama administration. But then I realized a few things. Jim Hood is a Democrat. He's going to speak after me. I don't think you'll hear him say he's a Democrat.
Yeah, he's a Democrat.
I don't think you'll hear him say he's of President Obama's political party.
We appreciate it.
I don't think you'll hear him say that he stood up to President Obama and the liberal agenda coming out of Washington, D.C. But then I realized something even more important. He's been absent from the fight against D.C., but he's been physically absent from the Attorney General's office. You see, 2 years ago, Jim Hood moved back to Chickasaw County. He opened up a one-man shop in Houston, Mississippi, and said he was going to run the Attorney General's office from 3 hours away off his iPad. Now, I have 2 teenage daughters at home. I had them checked. There's no app for that. You can't run a statewide office from 3 hours away off your iPad. It can't be done. We need someone who's going to be in that office full-time, providing leadership to that office and leading that office. And I plan to do that. I promise to do that. Public corruption. I'll have to give my opponent credit. He has been consistent. When he's been absent from the fight against Washington, D.C., he's also been absent from the fight against public corruption. He likes to take credit for all these cases that his staff has done while he's been up in Houston. But he also has to take credit for the fact that Mississippi, was ranked #1 in the nation last year for public corruption. I recently prosecuted Chris Epps, the commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. For 7 years, he took $2 million in bribes, handed out almost $1 billion in contracts that cost you and I, the taxpayers, money. When we have corruption in our government, our businesses don't get a fair shake. The pay-to-play system will soon be over, and I promise to take the fight to public corruption and clean up our state. Now, finally, I want to ask I talk about when I go around the state Mississippi values, and I had a reporter the other day ask me what Mississippi values are. Well, the thing that popped in my mind first and foremost was all the videos we've been seeing on TV about Planned Parenthood. It's amazing to me in this day and age, videos of harvesting organs for murdered unborn children happens. And the videos show that these people think it's no big deal. Well, I'm here to tell you it is a big deal. I'm here to tell you it's wrong and someone needs to stand up and do something about it. The good news is there are attorneys general around the country who are calling for and doing investigations of Planned Parenthood. The bad news is we don't have anyone in Mississippi doing it. I've called for investigations. Nothing has been done. I make you this promise. I will be present, I will stand up, and I will fight for our Mississippi values, including investigating Planned Parenthood. Now, in conclusion, which is the best 2 words you hear from these speeches today, in conclusion, I want to be your Attorney General who is present, will stand up, and fight for all Mississippians, not just a select few. I want to be someone who will stop the unconstitutional federal overreach we see coming out of Washington, D.C., making it harder for our folks, not just here, but my folks back in Newton County to get jobs and to make a living. I want to be someone who makes it a priority to prosecute public corruption and to clean up our state. And I want to be someone who stands up for our values, including going after Planned Parenthood and standing up for our churches and our religious organizations. I will be that Attorney General for you if you give me the opportunity. My name is Mike Hurst. I'm your Republican candidate for Attorney General, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd. Thank you very much.